Coronavirus has reached Guyana. Here's some tips to protect yourself. GECOM chair suspends tabulation of votes. In the region, farmers in Argentina on strike. And internationally, World Health Organization declared COVID-19 a global pandemic. Greetings and welcome to this edition of Headline News Update. I'm George Gonzalez. Thank you for joining us. The tabulation of votes for Region 4 has been suspended yet again. According to the chairman of the GUYANA Elections Commission, the suspension is to give GECOM time to fully understand yesterday's High Court ruling. Esther Sobers brings us that story.
He then went out promising to bring the SOPs back because we all insisted that he read from the SOPs.
The tension surrounding the 2020 general and regional elections continues. This morning, local observers aired their concerns over the use of a spreadsheet of votes of District 4. They objected to the use of the spreadsheet instead of counting the statements of poll in an initial tabulation process.
He came back in without the SOPs and proceeded to do the same thing over again. Then he admitted to us that he would be reading from figures that he had presented a couple of days ago, the same figures. So we continued to protest what he was doing. Finally, the chairman arrived. The chairman arrived of the Chief Justice's decision.
Following this, chairman of the GUYANA Elections Commission, retired Justice Claudette Singh, took the decision to suspend the tabulation. GECOM chair relayed understanding of
the RO tried to force upon us a set of figures from whence they came, we know not.
So how will that situation be rectified?
We have to wait and see. As I just said, the chairman came down and said that she needs to be properly advised by seeing in writing what the Chief Justice has actually ordered. And as a result of that, I suggested the only way forward was to suspend the process until she's ready. Because as I pointed out, and I would like to repeat this, that the buck stops with her.
On Wednesday, the Chief Justice ruled that District 4 Returning Officer Claremont Mingo to return to credible and transparent tabulations of ballot boxes from Region 4. The Chief Justice ruled that the returning officer had breached the law in adding up the statements of poll and should return to the process. However, the RO is allowed to decide whether to start afresh or to continue where the last votes were tabulated. Nonetheless, up to press time, the tabulation of votes was still suspended. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. The Ministry of Education wishes to inform the public that schools remain open. The Ministry of Education is advised to protect yourself. Wednesday morning, a 52-year-old woman died of respiratory issues and uncontrolled diabetes at the Georgetown Public Hospital. Samples taken from the body tested positive for coronavirus, also known as COVID-19. This is the first recorded. The label triggers national governments to activate preparedness plans and possibly take emergency procedures to protect the public. WHO noted that the designation is not an indication of the deadliness of the disease. Rather, it is used to describe when an outbreak has spread to multiple regions and exists in those areas over a sustained period of time. Locally, health authorities are treating it as an imported case, as the victim had recently returned from a visit to New York. Last evening, President David Granger announced the establishment of 3 quarantine facilities and also announced the activation of the National Emergency Plan to guard against the coronavirus. He has also asked citizens to remain calm while increasing the prices of hand sanitizers and disinfectants. Minister Lawrence said businesses should desist from price gouging, as that could worsen the situation, as many persons may be unable to afford the products and to protect themselves. The Ministry of Public Health is also urging the public to adhere to infection prevention and control measures. These include maintaining a distance of at least 1 meter from persons who are coughing or sneezing, performing hand hygiene frequently by washing hands thoroughly with soap and water or using a hand sanitizer if hands are not visibly soiled, covering mouths and noses with a tissue when coughing or sneezing, and then discarding it immediately afterwards, resisting the habit to touch the face. In response to the spread of the virus, the Ministry of Public Health has also established a 24-hour hotline which can 5 or 624-3067. For more information about the disease and how you can protect yourself, you can log on to the World Health Organization's website. This morning, Public Health Minister Volda Lawrence confirmed that over 14 doctors and nurses at the Georgetown Public Hospital have been ordered into self-quarantine after coming in contact with. We bring you your regional and international news.
Hurry down to Zasco on 15 North Road between Camp and Wellington Streets. Quality products at low cost for every room in your home. 65 and 55 inches high-stand 4K smart TVs. Samsung French door fridges. Black & Decker appliances, queen and king size Canadian-made mattresses. German-made pressure pots in 5 to 9 liters. 12-piece pot set. Canadian-made 3-piece.
Reliable, prudent and courteous traveling experience. Your choice is G3 Cabs, located at 228-229 Aubrey Barker Road and Beverly Close, South Renfrew Gardens. Travel in comfort and safety with our deluxe fleet of new vehicles and neatly trimmed drivers serving our customers around Georgetown. We deliver cooking gas, small packages, run errands, and such as jump starts of vehicles, flat tires, spare wheel assistance, and more. Contact us on 218-4.
Please don't go.
Here's a company you can call to get your AC fixed. Action Cool.
Honey, what's dinner? I had a hard day.
I'm sorry you had a hard day, but guess what, babes? I didn't cook today because the stove is not working.
Having trouble at home or at the office? Then call the professionals at Action Cool. Our fully trained technical team have the skills and experience in repairs of all air-conditioned units, refrigerators, gas stoves, washing machines, and a whole lot more. For further information, visit us at 86 Hill and Princess Street, Mandela Avenue, Georgetown, or call us on telephone number 225-7867.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at news from the region. Farmers in Argentina have begun striking in protest of a government decision to raise export taxes on soybeans. But the country has racked up enormous foreign debt and is looking to raise revenue from the tax move to help ease its economic crisis. Al Jazeera's Teresa Bow reports.
Farmers are on strike in Argentina. Hundreds of them gathered in this assembly to express their anger against the government of Alberto Fernández after he announced a 3% increase in export. Viñani lives in the province of Santa Fe. He says the government is making a mistake.
I don't mind paying more taxes. You work and the government takes away 70% of your income. We cannot continue like this.
The government says that this strike is an act of violence in a country that is currently struggling a crucial role in Argentina's economy.
Argentina is one of the world's top exporters of soya and corn. The government wants to increase export taxes on soya from 30 to 33% in what it describes as a solidarity move to help those who are suffering the most. They take money away from the city to donate some of their harvest.
We came here to give away our vegetables to support the government's redistribution measures. Some soya producers are not thinking about the country. They're only thinking about their own income.
Back in 2008, members of Argentina's agricultural community clashed with a former president, Cristina Fernández de Kirchner, who is now vice president, when she tried to increase taxes. Farmers held major protests that forced the administration
fight for survival for many producers. Much of the crop production happens on rented land, and producers have to pay for rent on top of all the taxes. Also, some have the added cost of transport as their farms are far away from the ports.
The farming community is vast, and while there are large companies running the business, there's also small-scale producers. They are the ones who vowed to continue fighting against a measure that they believe is unjust. Teresa Bo, Al Jazeera, San Nicolás, Argentina.
And internationally, the World Health Organization has labeled the coronavirus outbreak a pandemic and is calling for, quote, urgent and aggressive action, end quote. COVID-19 has spread to at least 114 countries, with the United States declaring a ban on flights from the European Union. Al Jazeera's Priyanka Gupta reports.
That COVID-19
World Health Organization that spread across 6 continents in 114 countries fits the description of a new global pandemic.
Pandemic is not a word to use lightly or carelessly. It's a word that, if misused, can cause unreasonable fear or unjustified acceptance that the fight is over, leading to unnecessary suffering and death.
The WHO no longer officially declares a pandemic. The label doesn't add to how serious the disease is. It merely defines it as one that's spreading widely. Last time the world saw it was during the First World War in 1918 that the deadliest pandemic in recent human history first appeared. The Spanish flu, which killed at least 50 million people and infected a third of the world's population. This time, the WHO says even though the world has never seen a coronavirus, one that can be controlled at the same time.
I think they're saying to all governments, you really need to get ready. You really, no kidding, need to have been denying risk or saying that they have no cases, when that's probably not actually true. So I think WHO is saying to them, really, you have to get ready.
And there is hope that if countries and people work together to prevent the disease from spreading, the impact of the coronavirus pandemic can be limited. Priyanka Gupta.